Hello and welcome back to Jimbobs Painting Joy, episode 3. We've had a bit of an unexpected snow blizzard up here in Warrington of the mid-Staffordshire realm. So I'm going to go and do a bit of a snowy piece inspired by some of the things I've seen today. I'm going to be using a very limited palette, as you can see here. I've got my phthalo blue, Prussian blue, black on the palette and on my arm, crimson, brown and titanium white. We're going to go ahead and do a nice little morning, maybe early in the morning, very cold outside, that kind of scene, some pale blues. But as I say, we'll make use of this limited palette. So I'm going to start off, jump straight in with a bit of titanium white and a little bit of the phthalo blue and just make a really light blue colour. Real light sky blue. And then I'm just going to, it's a square canvas we're using today, 30 by 30 centimetres, so it's not huge. But I'm just going to start with a little bit of a ring, X's, a little bit of a ring in the middle. And just kind of work that out a bit. And the canvas has been covered in a medium of white titanium and linseed oil, so it's slip and slidey. Then I'm going to reach in a little bit more of the blue and just gradually increase the darkness of that colour. X's again around the outside of this one. And I'm not looking for any kind of detail here, I just roughly want to get the paint on the canvas so I can start working my blending in just a moment with the dry brush. Bit more blue, make an even darker blue. Coming round again, like this, and just progressively maybe into a little bit of that Prussian blue now, darken that up some more, a real nice dark blue, and maybe now from the corners, come and fill that, maybe a touch of black into that perhaps, and we can come around there and fill those in. And you can see that on each one of those levels, I know it doesn't look like much at the moment, but on each one of those levels, we've got a progressively more blue. Well, progression. Duh. Right, okay, so again, I know it doesn't look like much at the moment, but if we come in with this clean blender brush and work from the middle outwards, softly blending, and we can just work that little soft X's. Maybe follow the shape round. I just want to give the impression really that there's a little bit of light coming through there, and then maybe into something else that's lurking here in the woods or in the forest. But as soon as you've come into the dark colour, you can't really go back into the light without cleaning your brush. So you'll be a pro brush washer by the time you finish this one. If you've not got a few brushes readily prepared, I've got a couple of blenders here just so it's quicker on camera. We can come back over with them. Maybe some bolder strokes, and just work from the middle to the outside. And we've got this nice blue progression. Well, it's just a rough idea, it doesn't have to be much at the moment. Now maybe real softly all the way across, just to take out a few of those strokes. And then we've got that pattern in the background. Okay, so same dirty blue brush. I want to now make the impression that there's a few of those faraway trees just sneaking into the horizon line. So I'll stamp it through a little bit more white just to relighten it after those dark shades of the blue we had and get something a bit more like the first or second colour. Just maybe, where might we have a tree coming in? Maybe there's some little hanger overs quite far in the distance over here, shining in the day. Nothing much, just some impressions. A little bit of paint on the brush is fine for this because really I want to keep it quite vague, really. I don't want to come in too far. Just like that. And then let them work their way out there. They're quite faint, but they're in there. Then if I move around to my liner brush, wherever he's hiding, there he is. With the thinnest brush in the pile, always hiding away. Now, I might just take this through a little bit of the liquid white. I've got a bit of clear that's separated at the top, it'll be perfect for the job. I'm going to pull it through a little bit of this blue. And that's like a nice light blue colour, similar to those sky shades. I'm just going to twist that into the liner brush there, and maybe just the odd impression of a few tree trunks that exist out there, tree limbs, tree trunks, whatever. Might take a few applications or a few goes with the paint thinners just to get them to play ball. But I'm not looking for loads of detail, I just want it to look as though there is some stuff happening back here in odd places, odd areas, just doing stuff. Maybe a couple on this side. If you're having trouble making it flow, you can add a little bit more of that thin oil, thin linseed. Twist it through, make a chisel point and just flick it up. The more you can get the flick, the more realistic it tends to look. Just go over that like that, that's fine. That's all I really want. I don't want loads, I just want the impression really. And then we go back to our old approach, getting darker in the gradients of blue, and we go into a little bit more blue, more towards the black this time. Touch that Prussian blue back in. Just keep working it on the palette till you get something like you want. Don't get too much of that linseed oil on or you'll get sliding, but if you've got something like this, nice dark colour, just bring that in over another touch, and we're starting to push back those ones we've just put in and just reveal just how deep this part of the woods really is. Quite a deep section. We've got these guys looming right over the edge, but already it just looks like there's stuff way back in there. You might see we're tapping on a bit at random, but we'll come and, you know, make use of these shapes a little bit more at the moment, but I just want to give the impression that it's coming forward, that's all. Okay, a little bit more of the clear medium, and through a little bit of the darker blue this time, and as the leaves get blue, the trunks get blue. Maybe into this one there's even something to do. Even though I don't like mixing this linseed oil with paint thinners because they do have a weird reaction, sometimes using the linseed oil as a thinning medium on the liner brush doesn't actually work, so you have to get a bit of thinners involved. Touch him up there. A little bit of thinners involved just to help it glide. I noticed that the last application wasn't really gliding as desired, and that's okay. A little bit of trial and error, maybe through a touch more black. Just want to get these quite dark. Quite dark. There we are. Just a touch more. So it's almost sort of quill and ink sort of vibes. There we are, that's showing up much better. Maybe he's just coming out and asking for some light from this end. Asking for the light. We're all pretty much asking for the light in one way or another. The trees are no different. And play these dark ones off against some of the lighter ones and jump straight back into your white mix. Get that going into a grey tone somewhere in the middle, and maybe a few of those do us a bit further back. Just impressions, just vague impressions. Wisp the brush up and down, you get some nice straight lines in the background for some of these. You're just making the illusion that there's a lot more there than there actually is. Then we go a little bit more into some brown, make this sort of browny, dark browny blue now for some of these foreground foliages. From the top corner I'm just going to work in with this, and you can see each layer it's got progressively darker. It's just an easy one for starting this, an easy one for starting, but can look quite good quite easily. Don't let the brush slide like I just did, because if it does that it can be quite hard to hide it again. Might have just got away with it there, and just sort of let a little bit of the stuff you did before show through. It's nice and gently. That's coming in. Well, I'm using quite a wet canvas today. I didn't perhaps allow it to dry or scrape off with the towel as much as perhaps you should do normally, but just wanted to make sure we didn't have any problems swimming that sky in quicker than we thought. But already you can see a little bit of depth in there coming from this nice light area, so pretty happy with the gradient. So what you want to do of course now is put the highlights on those trees. So we can take a fan brush and we can take that through Probably threw a little bit of the liquid white actually, just to help that be quite loose. Only did the littlest touch of blue, but you'll notice that I'm putting quite a lot of white on the brush here. I've wiggled that brush through. Quite a lot of white on the brush there. And I'm tapping the little pile of paint I've got on the palette until I can see the same sort of bush marks on the palette that I kind of want on here. Now, to not leave a trace of the fan brush as well, if you just use the corner, and you can put a little bit more detail and thought into where these individual bits are going, but it helps. Don't kill all the dark, but as I say, it does help that you've got those guards in the background. Maybe just a few of the tops of them. Maybe that's all that's getting the light there. Maybe there's not so much. And then, as I say, you can drag your 1-inch brush back through that, stamp a bit of that on, and just try and give that more of an ice kiss feel. Kissed by the ice. Lots of layerage in there. Again, we're not killing all the dark, and if a bit comes out where there's no dark, that's okay, because that'll link in with those background tones. I just want some indications of highlight in some places. Jump across the other side. Great little winter scenes. Maybe a few just on those mid ones, just to link it all in. If you turn the brush around, you can maybe make the indication that some other leaves coming in from off the canvas, and already you've got that snowy, wintry feeling. Maybe some of them have got a little bit more snow than others. Some of them you see with that clump on, that little clump of snow. You don't get many chances at this because you've got to be quite liberal with the paint, but we all see those. We all see those little doers. Maybe I'll make this one a little bit more frosted and have something coming across that in the foreground. Nose. A little bit more in here. A few more bushes in the foreground there. Maybe there's a nice bit of highlighted brush here. Now, I've got the idea that perhaps there's some water here at the bottom. So if we just take that 1-inch brush with the white on and just pull directly down, but drag a bit of that dirty in, and that'll act like a shadow in the reflection, like a nice shadow. And we can just pull that down all the way across there, and you can sort of design where your waterline's going to be. You can kind of see that there kind of recesses a little, and maybe in this middle spot, maybe we'll drag down a bit more white, because that's where that light's just reflecting off. Not too much, just a touch, and just make a gradient as it comes out. Lovely, real nice. So we'll pop that big old brush down for a minute and go back to our blender brush. Very softly, no pressure at all, straight across, and just kind of blur it out. If you feel as though you will lose a bit of the reflection, you can drag it back and play it forth. You don't get too many goes, but you can have a few. Wiggle it, makes that impression that something's sat underneath that perhaps, and that is the where the waterline should be. So I want to keep this aligned as if sort of the path meets the waterline. Maybe there's a little bit of a embankment on this side. For that I'll take the knife and we'll go a bit more into the brown, some of the blue, brown and blue. I'm just trying to tie that blue into everything. As I say, we've got that limited palette, but there's no reason we can't have a nice few rocks here. Now, because I've got a quite slidey palette today, I'm going to use a little bit more paint. I suggest if you're just starting, perhaps use less. Do them. Sometimes I keep it really dry in pastel and controlled, but today I just want to do that quick free your mind kind of vibe. So with a bluey brown mixture, I'm just coming across here with quite a build up, but notice that all those 3D built up bits in a minute or two, when I come over with the highlights, they'll catch the paint roll on the bottom of that knife. They'll catch that paint roll and they'll look like all kinds of jagged up front. Maybe we're close enough now for me to use the big end of the knife. Close enough now. Close enough now. You get some nice accidents occurring, but use them. Maybe it just comes out like that. Nice. We'll close him in there. In fact, what the hey, maybe he comes out quite far. And if you change your mind like that, you can just come back with your blender, pull some of that down as a reflection. Drag it out a little bit, maybe there's more shadow there. Drag some of that down, pull that out. All of that, such slight movements, but they just happen to look like water. Drag out, sorry. Drag the dark towards the light. Nice, you got some nice reflective stuff going on there. Now for those highlights, take the same brush, maybe some of this old whitey blue pile we've got here. I think some of this up the front here would look gorgeous. So we've got a little roll on the edge of the knife, you can see that. And just let it take what it wants and leave what it doesn't. Just hovering over. As you can see, such a delicate touch. This is the bit that really takes a lot of getting used to. It's impressive to look at sometimes, but if you want it to break in all them ways, you've got to learn the gentle touch. But for these, maybe these closer ones, I'll go a little bit more into the blue. Maybe they've got like a darker shadow, and that's going to stick a bit darker there. See that blue? Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I've just noticed the blue at the bottom of my canvas is a little bit not properly in there. I might just grab this old filbert, just scrub him in a bit, just to fill in that bottom line. Any old dark colour, I'll maybe do something. Yeah, to pull that brown across. Maybe we'll pull the foreground down a little bit like this. Design something here. Let's design something here. We always like some up front plants. Let's just design something in with the filbert like that, maybe. Some little bits coming up there, some little bush vibes. It's just a little pond, this one. Now, back to the knife. We go for a waterline. I think I'm going to lose my mind. You just keep on pushing my knife over the waterline. Excuse the unintentional Madonna there, it just pops in. Call upon the power of Madonna if you need to. Whatever helps you. Cheesy songs like that get stuck in my head. Always when I'm doing something pleasant like this. I wonder what the connection is. Lovely, nice little waterline there. I might just take that little blending brush and just blend out that brown into that white a little bit more as that comes across there. I wasn't particularly happy with that bit, but that doesn't look so bad now. Now maybe I just want a little bit of snow capping on the top of these rock formations, so I'll just go ahead and, again, with quite a thick oil paint, disobeying all the rules today, but quite like the look of that sometimes. A little bit of snow on that side. Maybe a little bit of snow on this side. We can drag it back and incorporate a bit of that shadow. Totally up to you. A bit of a walkway there. Now, I want some more. I put some dark on that bottom row, but of course it means nothing without our light bush effects or maybe some snow-kissed ground, so we'll put that in there, put that in there, a couple of bushes that maybe just pop out over the waterline there. And maybe we do want to keep that just a little dark in those corners so you can come back over, darken it up a bit, dark against light all the time, dark against light. Now, you know what I see? And get crazy a little bit. See a big old tree. Oh. Maybe he comes right down there. We'll put his foot in. right into that foreground part, and maybe just want to darken up that shadow edge where the light's not striking as much. Make him, you know what, make him a little arm. He's not alone, you're not alone. All these songs, these old songs coming through, what's happening? Bit more of that black. A little bit more of the paint finish just so it'll run nicely. And we'll start to put a bit more detail on him. And if we play our cards right, this will just send the rest into the background nicely. Some nice bold limbs on him. He needs to be where he is. A little bit more of the finish. Maybe there's one. Comes out like that, maybe. Maybe. Alright, check that for a happy little accident. The violent reaction between the thinners and the linseed oil has caused the top of our branch to go white, which makes it look even more like it's been kissed by the snow. So, what about that for a happy little accident? That's a pretty good one if you ask me. I didn't even know that was going to happen. Maybe he comes straight out there like that. Couple on the other side. Couple that come over the other one. Get crooked. Ding, crooked. Okay. Thinking crooked about this one. Risk a little bit more of that paint thinner on there. Couple of little doos that just come up, push that back. Nose. Just decide how you're feeling about that tree. Maybe there's another one. Big one that goes straight off the top. It's a big one. Big foreground tree. Taking no prisoners, this tree. A little bit more thinners just to get us over those whites at the top. And we're over the finish line. There we go. Wonderful. And that just brings that right lovely and far forward. Means as it works so well for us. And we've got such a limited colour palette, we could incorporate something on this side, maybe not quite as prominent, but something that's there. Something that's going to sneak out. Maybe it's hard to tell whether he's so far in the background or the front until we bring him right out. Bring him right out. Bring him out. Come and say hello. Something like that, bringing him nice and far forward, and maybe the snow at the bottom of our tree foots just climbs up the side a little bit there. Maybe the light's hitting. Maybe it's a silver birch, who knows, but that white just seems to play off there. Not too much, because it's quite wet on there. A little bit on the other one maybe. A little bit on the other side. Winter Wonderland. Maybe there's a couple of rocks up here in the foreground. In fact, I nearly forgot the rule completely. A little bit of dark first, just to block that in. A little bit of dark, maybe a little bit of brown on that one too. I like that brown. Into our loose highlight mixture, straight down. Nice big snow covered rock right in the foreground. Maybe one here just pushing that tree right back. I think we've got something near a finished painting. Maybe there's a few. You always see those little black bits of plantation that have sort of broke through the snow and come up into the foreground, just lovely like that. Maybe with a nice loose black, just to finish this off. We can wisp up all kinds of little guys. They made it through the snow. Made it through the snow. We made it through the snow. Cool. And with that, I think we've got to finish painting. Thanks for tuning in. Join me again. Next painting probably be in a couple of days. Depends on how busy I am. Yeah, God bless. Catch you later.